Now to talk about this further is Chris Meekins. He's a healthcare policy analyst with Raymond James, and Len Yaffe. He's managing director of StockDoc Partners and an Astrazeneca shareholder. Len, assume you were not on this call today. Are you troubled, first of all, about how you found out this information when they're not sharing it with the public while they are sharing certain things via press release?
Yeah, I wasn't pleased with what seemed to be some selective disclosure, if that was in fact the case. I was not on the call. I do own AstraZeneca in the fund for reasons unrelated to the COVID-19 vaccine. Ironically, it relates to their current drugs in their pipeline, but one never wants to see selective disclosure involved for any client base.
Chris, having said that, now that we are learning more about this disclosure, about the condition that led to the pause of the drug trial, I mean, you've had experience with vaccine trials before. How worrisome is this for all of us really hoping for a vaccine here sooner than later?
Well, I think what history shows us, Sarah, is that vaccines sometimes don't work. So if every one of these vaccines were 100% on point the entire way, I would say something was a little bit suspect. So the company deserves credit for actually pausing the trial and saying, let's get to the bottom of this. However, it was completely boneheaded of the company, and I want every future company that may have an issue going forward in the vaccine space to learn what not to do, which is at a time when the public is really concerned about the safety of these vaccines, you don't give information to investors instead of being transparent with the American public. You have a responsibility to the country and the world to be completely transparent so that when we do get a vaccine approved, the public has confidence in that. Great job pausing the trial. Absolutely boneheaded decision to talk to investors instead of the public.
And Len, I mean, Chris just gave the sort of moral argument in the time, the current climate with all the fears that are out there for why they should have shared this information perhaps more broadly. But as an investor, do you also feel left out if this was just, regardless of any morals, if this perhaps was a retail company updating on sales or something as simple as that this is selective disclosure and that you've been left out of hearing certain market-sensitive information that other investors have heard?
As I mentioned, and it's a great question, obviously one wouldn't want that to be the case in any company, good or bad information. I think it's important to realize that the need for a vaccine is great, as are the need for therapeutics in the interim. It's unlikely, to put in a broader perspective, that the first-generation vaccines will confer immunity for a very long period of time. They may have to be re-administered. But I want to put it in the frame of understanding that there was an article published 11 years ago on other vaccines, including hepatitis B, measles, mumps, that showed 37 cases of transverse myelitis in the prior 30 years in trials. And if you look at virtually any vaccine trial that's been done, you'll get this autoimmune response because that's what you're trying to generate that may lead to fever, myalgia, body pain, headaches, and rash. And you expect there possibly to be at least one case of that when tens of thousands of people are administered the vaccine. So if this is just one case of this happening, I think the trial will proceed. Hopefully it will work along with some of the other trials. If you get multiple cases of this, it becomes a more meaningful concern. That, to me, is the bigger picture issue that we have to look at within the framework of recognizing, as was said, that one doesn't want to see selective disclosure in any way. But I don't think it changes the possibility of the vaccine succeeding, and that's more important.